I am delighted as the curator of Future ICT Forum to have Lord Mayor Stephan Keller with me here today. We are all from Bangalore, the city that is tech-enabled, so all of you can Google his name and find out a lot of things about him. But what I want to highlight is his commitment to sustainability. Our summit is called the Future ICT Forum for Sustainable Cities. And if cities have to be sustainable, there has to be a leader who believes in sustainability. All of us know what happens when the leader does not believe in sustainability and a few other things. We have seen geopolitics shake up, we have seen markets getting unstable, and then we value the leaders who are visionary, who are stable, who are clear, who are not just thinking about the citizen, but also the next layer of citizen, which means the children of the citizens and the future city that they will inherit. So let's give a big round of applause to our wonderful mayor, Lord Keller, who is here all the way from Düsseldorf. My special thanks to Annette and Bettina from the team to make sure this day happens and that he is with us. So we had two options. One was that he would give a speech, but then, the team said it's too boring, let's do an interaction. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this interaction. We have members of the press here with us also who will take and get those wonderful points that you give them. So let's straight away dive into it. So, Mr. Mayor, before we look at international cooperation, when you describe Düsseldorf as a sustainable city, what does that actually mean in practice? And what defines Düsseldorf's approach towards sustainability?
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me be here. It's a pleasure for me to speak to you today, and I was very willing not to give a speech, but to have an interview with you. That's probably a lot more interesting for the audience as well. But coming to sustainability, well, basically we set ourselves a clear target. Düsseldorf aims to be climate neutral in 2035. That's 10 years before the national goals, before the rest of Germany. And for us, sustainability is not just a single project or not just a climate target on paper. It is the way we want to develop our city as a whole. We take a holistic view of sustainability and implement it not only in individual areas, but consider it in all our activities. And it means combining energy transition, smart mobility, digital industry, quality of life, all in one integrated strategy. And what's important to us, we deliberately work with real-life test beds. For example, the EUREF campus, big site near Düsseldorf Airport is a site where companies, startups, and the city jointly develop and test solutions under real urban conditions. And then as a state capital, we've been talking about North Rhine-Westphalia in the panel before. We are the capital of North Rhine-Westphalia, and that brings it that many relevant institutions are located in Düsseldorf. For example, the new state's Agency for Energy and Climate Protection, and we work very closely with the state government, and our cooperation with NRW Global Business is very, very strong in the international field. So we're very happy to have all the support from the state and especially NRW Global Business.
Excellent. When I hear that answer, I'm very excited because, one of the things he mentioned is the living lab, which is in Düsseldorf. Normally leaders say, let's not take risk. But when you have a place where you can test solutions, that becomes a test bed. So I would like to invite startups and also those who are following our online feed to basically connect to the city of Düsseldorf and find out where those opportunities are to test your solutions, to pilot it and adjust it, and once it's perfect, look to scale. Thank you so much for providing that, opportunity. Now that we are in the city of Bangalore and, our summit is about future ICT for sustainable cities, and I know that you also believe a lot in ICT. We will have later at the panel a person from Digi Hub. So, that we will cover a little bit. But I just want to ask you, when a city like Düsseldorf and a city like Bangalore, how can they succeed or only succeed with cooperation? Because, today everybody is a bit confused looking at the geopolitics of the world. things are fracturing, the rules-based order is getting questioned. In this context, how important is cooperation, and what do you see between Düsseldorf and Bangalore or Bengaluru can happen?
Well, I think there's a very simple answer to that, because all cities all over the world face very similar, very similar challenges. Climate change, energy security, mobility, water, skilled labor, and no city on earth can solve these issues alone. What we need are partnerships that combine different strengths and allow for an exchange of innovative ideas and bringing the most talented people together. And Bengaluru brings outstanding digital and engineering expertise, and Düsseldorf brings industrial scale, regulatory stability, and access to the European market. And together, I think we can create a powerful platform for sustainable urban innovation.
Wow, that is amazing. You see, how do I say, there is this wonderful quote from Ratan Tata. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's really the essence of this, amazing outlook that Düsseldorf is ready to partner and collaborate with a city like Bangalore, where our strengths can multiply and we can overcome our weaknesses to create a better world, because the challenges finally are the same, whether it's in Düsseldorf or whether it's in Bangalore. At this point, I want to take you a little deeper, because the state of Karnataka, our largest state, they have an agreement with the city of Düsseldorf. Can you just tell us what makes this partnership special?
Well, that's right. We have a memorandum of understanding with the government of Karnataka, and I think this is a very special partnership. For even in the context of all our international activities in Düsseldorf, it is very special, because to be quite honest, many international partnerships, they stop at declarations. But our cooperation with Karnataka is different because it's operational and it's long-term. We connect startups, corporates, talent institutions, and political decision makers on both sides. And Indian startups use Düsseldorf as a soft landing platform into Germany and Europe, while German companies expand their innovation and production activities in Karnataka. This creates trust, continuity, and real economic value for both. So it's the people and it's the actual doing. It's sort of bringing this MOU to life, which makes it really special.
Excellent. I sense a bias for action, and like all of us would say, action is louder than words. So it's really important that after MOUs, there is something happening. And I myself know, I think I have seen at least 2 or 3 startup delegations at Düsseldorf, supported by Bettina and Annette, when they are there in Düsseldorf, showcasing their solutions. So I have seen this MOU actually play out in action, and I think even NRW plays its part, and Ambika and her team is also supporting in this, the Medica Fair and all these wonderful digital events that happen in Düsseldorf. I just to drill down a little more, can you give us one example where a Düsseldorf Karnataka cooperation project already created some impact? I know this is not a 20-year agreement, but even in such a short time, you were able to do something. Can you give us an example?
Yeah, there's one very concrete example. You probably all know GEA Group, big German company, a global leader in process and environmental technologies. It's just 2 months ago they got listed in the DAX, the leading German share index. So very big player. And GEA Group operates it's a Düsseldorf company, but they operate a manufacturing campus with a focus on advanced water treatment technologies here in Bengaluru. And their decanter centrifuge, this system helps to reclaim nearly 1.5 billion liters of water every year from wastewater sludge. And this has directly contributed to the revival of polluted urban lakes, improving water security, public health, quality of life here in Bengaluru, a visible impact for citizens here, but also an example where we can learn from back home in Düsseldorf. So the expertise they gather here, developed in Germany, implemented here, and then it can be transferred as knowledge back to our home.
Excellent. You know, what a wonderful example. If this Indian company could go and list in the DAX, raise money, come back, double down, increase their scale, and 1.5 billion liters of wastewater, you know, coming back into the system. This is amazing. Let's give a big round of applause for that example.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so startups who are here, if you decide, you know, that you can stand the transparency tests and you can be public and you can list and raise money, I think Germany is a wonderful opportunity. And given that Düsseldorf is the capital of NRW, it can accelerate that process much fast. And I'm sure the team from Düsseldorf is here. You find also their booth later, which Lord Mayor will inaugurate in some time, so you get more information. But this is, you know, really exciting. So now I go to the next question. You know, how can Indian companies and talent contribute to make German cities more sustainable? And also vice versa, can German talent help Indian cities accelerate their journey towards sustainability? Given that, you know, you pushed your target 10 years earlier, I think you're a man in a hurry, and I'm sure that everyone can, you know, when you are in a hurry, you may make some mistakes, but I think you make mistakes for the good, and you learn, and you scale. So can you give us some quick opportunities where we can collaborate between India and Germany?
Well, as I said earlier, you know, partnerships are there so that people can solve problems together and we can learn from one another. And sustainability works best when cooperation goes in both directions. Indian companies make a very concrete contribution to making German cities smarter and more sustainable, especially through digital innovation. We've heard the example of Infosys earlier on, which is a very good example. But one activity that we offer is, for example, a smart city hackathon organized by our tech hub, which is a bit like a startup incubator. It's supported by the city of Düsseldorf, and Infosys is one of the leading partners in that. And here, Indian and German developers, startups, and city experts work together on real urban challenges, from energy efficiency to mobility and digital public services, another important area. And since October 25, young people from all over the world are studying master's programs with a focus on climate innovation and hydrogen economy at the EUREF campus, which I mentioned earlier as well in Düsseldorf. And from all those students, they come from all over the world, but the largest group of international students in these programs is coming from India. And they will shape the future of sustainability in Düsseldorf, not only in Düsseldorf, in India and beyond. And at the same time, German companies and cities bring industrial scale solutions and regulatory experience and implementation capacity to Indian partners. And this kind of hands-on collaboration is exactly how sustainable city innovation should work. It's a mutual contribution, and that's what makes this partnership most valuable.
Excellent, you know, scale and speed to deliver impact. And you can see how impactful this conversation also is. I was just looking all the slides and numbers behind, which are, you know, almost in parallel, seamlessly, you know, supporting the mayor's claims and, you know, actually putting the numbers out there. Because, you know, in today's global context, you know, people are also beginning to question facts. So it's good that we have facts, you know, just close by to guide us and to help us, you know, understand better. I want to go to 2 or 3 very, you know, low-hanging fruits. You know, when you saw the presentations, the energy panel this morning, there was a lot of thing about energy transition, circular economy, and hydrogen as well. We heard about the story already with the MOU signed for ammonia and, you know, things like that. Can you just throw a little bit light about what Düsseldorf has in this area, you know, so some of our startups can move faster in that?
Yeah, well, we're trying to be a very strong testbed for the energy transition, and we try to combine policy ambition with industrial execution, and we want to be sustainable leaders, and we are committed to putting innovative ideas into action at a local level. So, for example, we are expanding district heating, we are accelerating electrification, especially electric mobility, we are investing heavily in hydrogen, among other things. For instance, in 2026, so this year, a new municipal electrolyzer will supply green hydrogen for mobility including Europe's most powerful hydrogen refueling station located in Düsseldorf. So we're a European leader at that, in that regard. And our goal is to make climate neutrality and climate neutral mobility in focus practical, affordable, and scalable in dense urban environments. And that's exactly the kind of solutions cities all around the world are looking for. And together with regional partners in NRW, we're also building the leading network for the circular economy. We have a very strong trade fair company in Düsseldorf, and they are organizing the so-called Circular Valley Convention, big gathering like this one in March, and this convention will bring together business, science, politics, and society to drive the circular economy forward from Düsseldorf to the world.
Excellent. So the smart young people with the phones, Circular Valley Convention. Mark the dates and be there this year or next year. It's March, quite close by, so all the action will be there as well. You know, I have seen a lot of Indian tech companies find Düsseldorf very attractive. I mean, I have been to Düsseldorf. I was just there 2 weeks ago after Davos. I mean, I have my answers, but nothing like hearing it from you. You know, what is so special for the tech companies to come to Düsseldorf and make it as a base, especially in the context of, you know, Industry 4.0 and, you know, 5.0 that's, you know, at the edge?
Well, it must be truly special because the number of Indians in Düsseldorf has doubled in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's clearly visible with all their activities, and we enjoy that really very much. But coming to the substantial points of Industry 4.0 and why is it attractive for tech companies. We know that the future of manufacturing is digital, AI-driven, highly connected. We heard a lot about this morning. And I think Düsseldorf offers a unique environment for this transformation. A strong industrial customer base, hyperscale data centers are currently being developed in our region, leading 5G and future 6G infrastructure provided by players like Vodafone and Deutsche Telekom. Vodafone is based in Düsseldorf, the Deutsche Telekom a bit further south, but nearby. And Indian technology companies already play a key role here, working alongside European industrial leaders on predictive maintenance, on digital twins, and autonomous production. And for Indian firms, Düsseldorf is an ideal gateway, in my view, to scale Industry 4.0 solutions across Europe.
You know, at this point, I don't want to summarize because he said a lot of wonderful things. So those of you who are following the live stream, futureictforum.com, you find it there. I would recommend you rewind and listen to that 2-3 times because, you know, he mentioned digital twins, he mentioned, you know, city opportunities in Industry 4.0, electrolyzer, hydrogen. All of these opportunities are there, and you know the very fact that Düsseldorf is a leader in Europe itself overall to push the case for green hydrogen is an amazing opportunity for all of us to watch out. You know, now I want to turn the spotlight on this concept of digital health innovation because you know today there is a lot of interesting focus on longevity and to have a healthy life, because a healthy life and a healthy citizen means a healthy city and a healthy government and a healthy country. So, you know, I know that there are a lot of health initiatives happening in Düsseldorf, but, you know, could you just name a couple of them so some of our startups here can focus and make their plan of action of getting involved, engaged, and connected to the digital health innovation areas within Düsseldorf?
You know, this is why I prefer an interview to a keynote, because he's asking all these questions, giving me the opportunity to tell good things about Düsseldorf. So, no joke. Health and digital health are natural strength of Düsseldorf, and they are deeply anchored in our ecosystem. At the heart of this is our Life Science Center, which brings together startups, research institutions, and established companies in medical technology, in biotech, and in digital health. And this ecosystem is complemented by strong clusters, such as the Bio River Initiative and Startup for Med, which actively connect innovation, industry, and healthcare providers across the region. And just last week, we attended Medical Fair India in Delhi, where we engaged very specifically with Indian medtech and digital health companies interested in Europe. And at the same time, we have always been very, very pleased to welcome delegations from NASCOM and from Karnataka to Medica in Düsseldorf. The Medica is the largest trade fair, the world's leading trade fair for health tech and medical technology. And this continuous exchange makes Düsseldorf an ideal platform to test, to certify, and to scale health innovations for the European market. So any one of you sort of engaged in health tech and Medicare, please also note the date for Medica 2026. That's probably in October, November. It's a huge opportunity.
Great. I have marked my calendar and I will be there. So, I really think it's a very good opportunity because a lot of capital, we will see also in the next panel, Sudhir is here from Celesta. There's a lot of money going into longevity and digital health as such. Now, one of the questions when somebody decides as a company, as a startup to move, they're always scared of bureaucracy, So from what I have heard, I know that you have a very, very interesting governance structure and model where you put the investor as a customer almost, right? So how do you ensure speed, resilience, and reliable solutions for those that decide to take the leap of faith and, and aim for the stars, let's say? So what can you say? Because you run the city and you are the mayor. So can you throw some light about this aspect?
Yeah, sure. I was really, really happy to hear that testimonial by the representative of SLN in the panel before, where he said, he posted something on LinkedIn and the city of Düsseldorf responded. That's exactly how I wish, how I wish we work, and I think we have a good track record of providing a good customer service. And I fully understand that international investors often worry about the complexity, the bureaucracy, market entry barriers, and let's be frank, there is bureaucracy and there are market entry barriers, but as a mayor, I therefore made speed and reliability and professional guidance throughout the entire market entry process a clear priority. We work with one-stop structures, dedicated key account managers for strategic investors, and we are rapidly digitalizing our municipal services. Another place where we can learn from India. We had a very fruitful discussion with TCS on the weekend, so we're gathering speed there as well. But a very concrete example of how we work is the India Competence Center Düsseldorf, which we established last year together with the Chamber of Commerce and Messe Düsseldorf, which is our trade fair company. And this center provides Indian companies and startups with a very structured soft landing support, from regulatory guidance and market access to initial partner matchmaking. And in addition, as a city, we deliberately provide platforms such as trade fairs, innovation hubs, and sector-specific ecosystems where Indian companies can directly engage with European industry leaders. And our message is really clear. If you invest in Düsseldorf or in the NRW region, the city administration and its partners are there to actively support you and not to slow you down. We want to speed you up and be of any assistance that you wish.
Excellent. You've covered the plus. Now, I want to ask it in another way. Why Düsseldorf? Why don't they go, I don't know, to Berlin or to some other city? Just also put light on that aspect, so then people can consider also that.
Well, I can speak out a very, very clear invitation to Indian companies and startups, and the reasons that speak for Düsseldorf are very simple. We are one of the most beautiful places in Germany, maybe even in Europe. People rank our city always in the top 10 worldwide in terms of quality of life. I think Düsseldorf combines everything an international metropolis has to offer with a very down-to-earth hospitality. These are the soft factors. If you speak to expats, they always look back very favorably on their time in Düsseldorf. But then again, in business-wise, it's an innovation-driven city. It's a politically reliable city, so we offer very stable conditions. If you set up office in Düsseldorf, we can match you with strong partners. There's an excellent talent pool in Düsseldorf and the region. It's a very open-minded city. It's not only a large Indian community, but there's people from 180 nations living in Düsseldorf, which makes it probably the most international city in Germany. And that creates a very favorable environment for people from outside who come to do business.
Excellent. You know, diversity and inclusion are the solid foundations on which innovation can thrive, and I think therefore Düsseldorf is very special. Okay, this is my last questions because we had a wonderful conversation. I do believe each of us or each of the startups that or large companies that want to do their global journey, they have to do their own research and find out for themselves. But since we are a sustainability summit, if you have to look the next 5 years, because our event is called the Future ICT Forum for Sustainable Cities, in the context of Düsseldorf and Karnataka Innovation Corridor, what do you think this cooperation can do for sustainable cities, not just only the two of us, Bangalore and Düsseldorf, but also for the world?
Well, let's be precise. Karnataka is a state and Düsseldorf is a city. So what we are really building is a strong region-to-region partnership. And our vision is to connect the innovative ecosystems of Karnataka with the Düsseldorf and NRW region in a structured and in a long-term way. And this initiative is a very concrete contribution to the growing strategic partnership between Germany and India. So that's the wider context, and the FDA concluded this week is the perfect framework for that. So we want to create new opportunities by closer EU-India economic cooperation, and with these global frameworks, with the EU and India framework, we want to implement that locally. We can turn the political ambition that's defined on the national or even regional level. We can transform this political ambition into real projects at a local level. And real projects mean real investments, mean real jobs. And if we succeed, this region-to-region model can become a blueprint for international cooperation between Europe and India in the field of sustainable cities.
Wow, let's give a big round of applause to Lord Mayor Stephan Keller, who is a leader who believes in sustainability. Thank you so much.